after that meal, instead of grazing the rest of the afternoon, we don't want to do that. We want to say no to grazing. Here's what I tell myself. Here's an eating time, and then you're done. And then you burn fuel and fat, and then the next eating time is at the next meal. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Honeycast. Today I'm talking about holiday treating, holiday indulgences, holiday stress, holiday overeating. Are we going to do that this holiday season? Oh, I hope not. Let's talk about it though. So during the holiday season, and right now we're in November, so Thanksgiving is what we're talking about. Then we've got Christmas. It is a transition time. I like to remind myself, this is not a regular month or week or whatever, but this is a transition. When I say that to myself, I'm thinking, okay, so in transition, because we may have a whole week or 2 weeks, that we're not in our regular routine. We're off, may even be the whole month. We're off on our routine the whole month. But I call those transition months or transition times. When I'm in a transition, I automatically train my brain to not get into the all or nothing thinking, which is, who cares? I don't have time for this. I'm just going to eat whatever I want to, just do whatever I want to, and I'll start in January or December or whenever. I also start with my mindset, which is, this is a transition. I'm going to be eating differently. I'm going to be busier. And so what do I need to do to best support myself over this holiday season? Number one, what are my goals? What are my goals this holiday season? My goal is to be in ease and peace throughout this holiday season. So I'm not making any decisions unless they line up with peace and ease. I like that. That feels powerful. That feels intentional. Now, there may be some unpeaceful things that happen, but I can choose how I respond to those. So that's my intention for this month, is ease and peace. Thinking ahead of time, deciding ahead of time how you're going to show up for your holiday season is paramount. So are you going to be eating some things that are technically maybe not on your plan? Are you going to stay all in with your plan? Where are we in that spectrum? And let's make decisions ahead of time. For me personally, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, and most of what I make for Thanksgiving is pretty much on my eating protocol. There are going to be some things that other people make or that are available that aren't. So personally, what I like to do is I like to decide ahead of time, what am I going to indulge in that maybe is not the best for my blood sugar or not the best for my goals right now? Is it going to be the yeast rolls? Is it going to be a dessert? Is it going to be Jell-O pudding? And no, it's not going to be Jell-O pudding, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to take a look at what I know that's going to be there. I'm going to make a decision. You know what? I'm just going to have a crossover day. In Trim Healthy Land, that's on plan, but we're eating our fats with our carbs, but we're eating things that are healthy, that are on our eating protocol. That day, I may decide, okay, I'm going to eat really whatever I want, but I'm going to eat this in moderation. And this is the only day I'm going to eat this particular pecan pie or this yeast roll or this whatever that's not maybe the best choice. This is the only day I'm doing this, and I'm going to do this with moderation. That's the other thing, is that all or nothing thinking really doesn't work, because it'll have you just go all in with eating whatever you want to. And your brain will tell you, I'll start on Monday, which it won't. And then you'll have a lot of regret. And you may not even feel good physically. I know in menopause, when I indulge in too many things that aren't healthy for me, I really pay for it. I feel terrible. My energy levels plummet. Really, the main thing is balancing our blood sugar. So if you are going to indulge, decide ahead of time. Let's get rid of the all or nothing thinking. Moderate. Be moderate and savor. Moderation and savoring each bite really does help. If you slow it down and you savor every bite, you literally sometimes only need 1 or 2 bites. That's, people ask me, like, how can you just take 1 bite of pie or half a cookie? It's because I've trained myself to savor it. 1 bite is enough. And then I also think through, I don't want that whole cookie and how that's going to feel in my body. I don't want that whole piece of pie. Or maybe you are eating a whole piece of pie. Totally fine. I'm just giving you some coach tips for, let's create the holiday that you're going to feel good. And we want to feel good. We want to manage that blood sugar. So if you are going to indulge somewhat, I would not overindulge. I would give yourself guidelines. Remember, think ahead of time, make a decision ahead of time what you're going to do. And then when you are going to eat something that may not be best for your blood sugar, let's have protein first. So that's a tip. Let's eat our protein first. Surely you can find some protein somewhere. Maybe it's a shake. Maybe it's the essential amino acids. Maybe it's the turkey. Maybe it's chicken. Maybe it's meatloaf. I don't know what you've got going on. However, if you are eating your protein first, and then if you have any veggies and you're eating them next, you save that treat for after your meal, your blood sugar is going to be so much happier if you do that. Another little hack is that you can take apple cider vinegar before your meal or even after your meal, and that's going to help regulate your blood sugar. If you are going to be eating maybe, lots of crossovers or off plan, the other thing you want to do right after you eat is you want to get 10 minutes of movement. You can find 10 minutes. You can walk outside. You can walk around the house. You can go in the bathroom and do some squats where nobody can see you. But moving your body is going to help with that blood sugar, which is really what we want to do. If we are going to be making these decisions, let's make the smartest decision that we can to regulate that. So you can move your body for 5 or 10 minutes after your meal. I love to go on a walk. Even if the weather's raining, I put on my coat and my umbrella and I go for a little walk. So those are some ways to mitigate some of the blood sugar issues, because we don't want our blood sugar to rise and spike, because guess what happens? That causes an insulin spike and that causes fat storage. And if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to be in fat storage mode, right? So we're going to make these decisions ahead of time and we're going to savor each bite. The other thing is that kind of comes in and can really mess up our holiday is the thinking that you're going to not eat all day long and then eat a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. I actually did that for a couple of years. It doesn't work. Number one, you end up overeating. Number two, you do not go into that with a stabilized blood sugar. And number three, it really backfires basically, because you're saving all these calories for one meal and your body just can't get through all those calories. And so your body is going to store some of those as fat. So the best thing to do is to have a balanced meal or two meals. If you're eating dinner, maybe you're eating at lunch, but you're going to eat, you're going to break your fast and you're going to have protein. You're going to start your day with protein. You're going to start strong. You're going to start building. You're going to regulate your blood sugar. Have a carbohydrate E-based meal or an S-based breakfast, whichever one you want, but you're going to eat. And then maybe you're waiting 3 to 4 hours later and you're going to have your Thanksgiving meal. One thing that I do is my eyes used to be much bigger than my stomach and I would just pile on my plate. And what I've learned, if I pile on my plate, I end up eating more. So what I've learned is I take smaller portions. I may have a lot of things on my plate, but I have small portions, but I have enough food on my plate. So I am not depriving myself. I'm just looking at my portion sizes and I'm kind of cutting them in half, honestly. The carbohydrate rich foods, I'm going to keep those to a smaller portion. I'm going to make sure I've got some veggies in there and I'm definitely going to have my protein. After that meal, instead of grazing the rest of the afternoon, we don't want to do that. We want to say no to grazing. Here's what I tell myself. Here's an eating time, and then you're done. And then you burn fuel and fat, and then the next eating time is at the next meal. So I am not eating in between meals. I'm not grabbing nuts. I'm not grabbing celery with pimento cheese. I'm not eating. I'm going to let that current fuel be burned. Hopefully I'll get moving. And then my next meal will be personally 4 hours later. I like that 3.5 to 4 hour window. My body loves that. And then if my Thanksgiving is at lunch, I like to have a deep S dinner and or maybe the next morning you could do a deep S, which is really just going to be your fat and your protein, your non-starchy veggies, fats, and protein. That's really all. I do basically a no carb meal after that. That's really the only time I'll do something like that because I don't need any more carbohydrates. I've had enough. I'm going with protein and veggies and maybe a little bit of fat. And when I say a little bit of fat, I'm talking like maybe a tablespoon. So for me, if I'm going to eat some leftovers, I'm going to do some turkey and then I'm going to do some vegetables. And that's what I'm going to have for dinner. Strategy. So what are you going to do the day after Thanksgiving? Are we still eating on our leftovers? What are foods that we want to stay away from the day after? How can you get rid of them, or how can you set up a strategy so that you're not diving into that? What do you need to do for yourself? So do you see how I'm thinking about all these decisions ahead of time? Your brain will kind of be like, oh, this is so hard to think about this, but you're going to thank yourself, your future self. It's going to be like, thank you so much because now I have a plan. So for me, On the day after, yes, I'm going to eat some leftovers, but I'm going to eat them in a way that's going to be helpful to my blood sugar. I'm not going to indulge in off-plan foods on that second day. I've already decided I had enough. That's good for me. Now I'm just going to stick with either my E meal or my S meal or my crossover, and I'm not going to eat in between meals, and I'm done with my desserts. So what do we need to do? Who can take those home? Or have a dessert for me. That's one thing that I like to do during the holiday season. So when all that dessert is out there, or whatever it is that you like, maybe it's chips and salsa, I've got something for me that I can eat. So having yourself a plan and a strategy is going to help you show up better for yourself, making better decisions. So some of the things that I like to do, I will make some chocolate banana muffins that are on plan. I will most likely, I even might make a on-plan cheesecake. I've got some store-bought things that are keto, that are chocolate. If I need a little something or want a little something, I have my stash. One thing that I have learned is that if I have something for me, ready for myself, it's much easier to make that choice. Do I make it all the time? No, but it's much easier to make that choice. And so in my mind, I'm just thinking during these holiday times, what am I trying to create here? And when I have a crave, when I have an urge, when I'm emotional or stressed out, I'm already talking to myself about this. Like, this food will not help my stress level. I might be emotional or stressed, but food is not the answer. What are some coping skills? What are some things I can do instead? I can journal. I can breathe. Box breathing is wonderful. I can go for a walk. I can make myself a hot chocolate and journal. I can take care of myself. What do I need to do right now when my emotions are high or when I'm super overwhelmed or stressed out? First of all, I try to keep myself from getting there. Believe it or not, I set routines for myself. There's some things that I will do and I won't do. I'm not available for a stressful holiday. I'm not going to let other people stress me out, and I'm not going to stress me out. So what do I need to do instead? These are the kind of thoughts that a successful person throughout the holiday, these are successful thoughts. These are the best thoughts that you can think to get ready for yourself, and then you have a backup plan. Am I always going to execute 100%? No, but because I've practiced this and I'm thinking about this and I'm planning this, I go in with the game plan. I might get derailed sometimes. If so, we'll have to have plan B, right? But it's not going to be that I'm going to overindulge and wake up the next day and feel like crap or get out of control or just throw the baby out. You know, I'm not available to those thoughts. I'm available to, here's my plan and here's what we're going to do. And these are ways that you can navigate your holiday. And the more that you practice these skills, you can practice these during any season of your life. Maybe there's seasons of stress or you've got some hard circumstances going on. But when you begin to operate in this way, you begin to create successful habits and you begin to make choices that are lining up with your goals, which feels so powerful. So my blessing to you is to have a powerful, intentional holiday. Why are we there anyway? Why do we have to focus? Why does it have to be food focused? It doesn't. We can focus on our relationships. We can focus on the joy. We can focus on service. We can focus on other things besides just, oh, it's holiday. I get to have some pumpkin pie. So we can shift our focus so that we're actually moving away from food focus, and food is just there. Food is just fuel. I really look at food, and yes, I love Thanksgiving, but I'm like, this is just fuel. How can I make it as healthy as I can? Because that's my goal. I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. So hopefully some of these tips, you can think about these. You can implement these. You can put these into your holiday time when even you're planning your meals, is you're planning your intentional holiday. Hello, friends. I'm so excited to share this with you. My Midlife Strong 12 Days of Fitness program is here, and it's perfect for the busy midlife woman who wants to stay active and feel amazing through the holidays. For just $27, you'll get 12 days of quick, effective workouts, all under 20 minutes, designed to build strength, boost your metabolism, and help you feel energized and confident. We'll do a mix of strength training, low-impact Pilates, mobility, and flexibility, everything you need to feel strong and balanced this season. It's simple, doable, and fun. You don't need fancy equipment, just light weights, a mat, and a little time. So if you're ready to prioritize yourself and finish the year strong, click the link and let's do this together, friends. You are going to feel so good.